Hi guys, I'm John Garage, and today I would like to take you down memory lane as we go through the different kind of multi-tools that I had in my youth as I was growing up. A lot of these were probably given to me at perhaps a little too early of an age, honestly, looking back, but you know, I turned out mostly okay, and I'm here to tell the tale. So, you know, let's just dive right in. I kind of put them in this little pouch here. Let's get these out, why don't we? And as I'm laying these out, I just want to, I don't know, this time of year is kind of a nostalgic one for me. I really love the autumn fall season because, I don't know, it just brings a lot of joy. It's like the holidays are right around the corner, and you know, the season is changing. It's getting cooler out. There's this crispness in the air that I just really enjoy. And, you know, it always makes me think back to childhood and all the great times I had. And, you know, today, in fact, I went to the grocery store and drove past my old elementary school. So it was like, okay, I've been thinking about doing this for a bit. So you know, it's a sign. I really got to just dive into this. So let's kind of start from the outset. I've told a story about how there was a guy at my church that I went to at the time that had a Gerber MP600, and I was just fascinated by that thing. And I begged my parents for, like, you know, I need a multi-tool. I should have figured out the, you know, brand name and product name, and maybe I would have been showing you this thing instead of this. But anyway, here we are with this. For a long time I thought it was a Gerber, but now I certainly don't know what it is. I can't find any sort of name or anything like that on it. But anyway, I want to say I was probably 9 or 10 years old when this was given to me. And for a quicker overview, it has these terrible pliers that are just so stiff. They were always like this. I used them a ton when I was a kid, just mainly messing around with action figures and, you know, pulling their limbs off. But yeah, you know, it's always been pretty stiff, especially in like a little kid's hands. Like, good Lord. It does have wire cutters there, and then it has a knife, which I recently resharpened, and I mean, that could do some damage if you're, you know, 9 or 10 and not really sure what you're doing. It also has a little serrated blade, which I remember a specific time I used that. And then we have a very small file and like a flathead little driver on the end. And I guess you could use that. I wonder if that's designed to be like a wire stripper type thing, like, you know, I don't really know what I'm talking about, actually. Let's just ignore that. But so, funny story with this is my nephew has been really into multi-tools, and my wife and I were thinking about getting him one, but a couple different events happened within the last few months. One was that he cut through like a laptop cord or something, because he watches a lot of YouTube videos and such too, probably why he went down the EDC rabbit hole or with multi-tools, and he just started like cutting cords, and he thinks he's gonna like rewire stuff, which he's probably watching these videos where it's these grown men who have 20 years of experience, you know, doing electric work and such like that, being like, oh yeah, this is how you do this, and he's like, I'm gonna do that. But, you know, love his curiosity, but he just does not have the safety knowledge or the life experience to back up the things he's trying to do. So yeah, he cut through his laptop cord, and another time he was like, oh, something was throwing sparks, and I tried to fix it, and it doesn't work now. And I guess last week at school, he stole his brother's multi-tool and took it with him, and this thing had like a knife and pliers and everything on it. And the thing with multi-tools is, you know, they're pretty small, And if you're given one as a child, you know, you can kind of just sneak it in wherever you want. You know, it's not like a big old thing. When I was a kid, on the school bus, this kid brought in, like, it was just a straight up wrench. He had, like, one of his baby teeth were falling out. And he spent the bus ride trying, like, I don't know if he was trying to be cool or something, but he was, like, pulling on his tooth. And he got suspended for that because the bus driver, like, wigged out or something. And, but yeah, so my sweet little nephew brought a multi-tool that has a knife with it to school, and apparently, like, he didn't get in big trouble or anything. But it's like, these are just a couple of the reasons why you won't be getting any multi-tools from Uncle John Garage this year. But then I think back to the time when the neighbor kids, they had this cool swing set, like, play thing or something like that, and I was like, oh, there's this little rope ladder, wouldn't it be cool if, like, we could cut the ropes and then we could swing freely? And they were like, yeah. And they asked their parents, and their parents were like, no. And so I went out in the night and did it, and they asked me the next day, did you do that? And I said, no. That was a low point. I don't know. But anyway, be careful if you give your kids multi-tools, because they're going to get into some stuff. Next up was this little knockoff, you know, Swiss Army knife type thing, which has, you know, the knife. It has actually a really nice, like, diamond file on it, which I quite enjoy. And then it has scissors too. This thing actually isn't bad. It's definitely not Victorinox or anything, but, you know, just a little thing. We were thinking about, like, getting something like this for our nephew. Something maybe like the Jet Setter, which doesn't actually have a knife, but you can still do some damage with a Phillips screwdriver and a scissors. So, moving right along. This here, I think I got in Arkansas at, we used to go to this mountain, which was more like a big hill, but it was really cool. It's called Mount Magazine, and I'm pretty sure this is a, like, souvenir from there, or I got it in Colorado. It's, my mind is kind of blurred between the two of them, but it's this, you know, slip joint little blade. It has two of them on it. This one is a real pointy one, and then this one is a one that's a little less pointy. I think they call this a sheep's foot. If that's a sheep's foot, then the other one is a sheep's talon. I don't know. Horn. It's a boar's tusk. Like, it'll get you. It's stabby, but this thing, I don't know. I mean, I've had this for at least 20 years. It looks like it's in good shape. It's, like, not rusted out or anything like that, and I'm pretty pleased with it. It's a cool little guy. I don't typically like carrying stuff just in my pockets. This doesn't have any sort of, like, you know, lanyard hole or clip or anything like that, but I mean, this would be cool to just throw in some sort of pouch, maybe, now that I think of it. And then this one, I think, came from my uncle, who's just like, oh yeah, here's something cool you could have, John Garage. My Uncle Garage gave this to me. It's a Camp King. Camp is spelled incorrectly, but that's all right. They didn't really have, you know, spell check back then, but this has a pretty crazy looking can opener. Look at that thing. Like, God, you could cut open industrial oil barrels with that dude. And then a bottle opener, of course, because if you want to be the Camp King, you have to let the drinks flow freely. And then a big old knife. This stuff actually also held up pretty well. Let's see if it's even still sharp. I think I tried to sharpen it a little recently. Let's give her a shot, why don't we? Oh, it kind of cuts. Oh, God. embarrassing myself again. It's all right. I mean, like, okay, we'll stop that. God. But anyway, cool little thing. And this one came a little later in life. Like, I was probably a teenager or something, but finally got a Gerber, but it's just a little folding knife type thing, half serrated. It's so thin, and I just can't get much of like a purchase on it to open it. Oh, I guess maybe things change, but yeah, half serrated, half not serrated. And then, oh yeah, folding this away is very awkward because like where are you supposed to grab it? I guess this would be like a frame lock technically, but I don't like it. Speaking of, I ordered a Kershaw, oh god, misdirect recently, and it had a frame lock on it, and I just didn't like it because like my big stupid hands were like grabbing onto the frame as I was trying to close it back up, and it like wouldn't do it. Or same when I was trying to flip it open, it wouldn't do it, and so it'd like flip out to like here or something, and it just sucked. And I returned that bad boy because I got enough friggin' knives to deal with right now. But yeah, so this will open, but it's just, I don't know about frame locks, man. So really, if we want to talk about even younger EDC, before I had any of these sorts of things, there was my true everyday carry as a child, which is lamb chop from the hit show Lamb Chop. And I guess this one has a little hat on it, but Lamb Chop was like a puppet show from back in the early 90s. So this is actually a puppet. You just shove your hand right up in there and, you know, the true face of John Garage. Okay, this is getting weird. Anyway, no, I had this everywhere with me when I was a kid, and it was truly my first everyday carry because, you know, for years and years, and actually it still is up in my bedroom with me, just not in my bed with me, but I have it up on like my dresser, because to me it's just kind of a reminder of like, you know, don't let that inner child within you ever die, because, you know, that is who became you, you know. And I think it's just important to continue having that imagination as you grow older. And speaking of imagination, kind of once I got this thing, I started daydreaming of like, I'm gonna pack my satchel and I'm gonna go off into the wood and everything like that. And this is another thing I would bring with me. I've never read this book. I just loved it because it looks like beat to crap, and it's like, oh yeah, this is what some old latchkey kid would take with him out into the wood, you know, like, you know, it's just very, it evoked this sense of adventure in me. Even without reading the words, it just spoke to me. Might be kind of silly, but another thing was I kind of collected these little sheriff badges, and when I'd play army and stuff outside with the next door neighbors, I'd have this on a lot, or we'd play cowboys and Native Americans. We didn't call it that back then, but that's all right. But yeah, so that's just kind of a little trip down memory lane, and I think it's funny that it's just come full circle a little bit, because now I love going out into the woods and being like, what am I going to put in my bag? My, you know, I'm going backpacking. I can only fit so much in here. You know, I got to be able to have the stamina to hike along the whole trail and everything like that. And it's just mirroring basically what I was daydreaming of when I was a kid. And so it's just funny to kind of look back at this and realize, you know, this was always within me to go out and do. So anyway, I know I just kind of was talking about whatever for a little bit there, but you know, I always think it's fun to see people's history of their multi-tools and what they've used over the years, and just I'd love if more people reached even further back and like, yeah, this is the first one I ever got, because that stuff's so cool to me. And you know, it's lovely to see how people begin their kind of EDC journey. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and like and subscribe if you'd like to, and you'll continue to see more content like this in the future. And thanks for getting introspective with me today. Until next time, goodbye.